everybody. Welcome to the On the Right Side podcast, coming to you live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here from the First America First Warehouse on Long Island. And I'm Steve Levy. I'm your co-host, former Suffolk County executive, New York State Assembly member, inside contributor to Newsmax, and the president and executive director of the Center for Cost-Effective Government. And also on the panel with me is the co-host, the one, the only, David Zare, the man with credentials to the White House and Real America Voice. Watch him every Saturday morning, and you're on just about every day for one thing or another, David. David, welcome back after all your travels.
Thanks, Steve. Great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody here. First, I'm an American, and we're at the America First Warehouse, right? And,
thank you, Joe the Box, for making this possible.
We'll go to the AmericaFirstWarehouse.com and follow us on Twitter at America First WH, America First WH on X. Excuse me.
Well,
Been
you're
exciting
taking a
few
breath.
weeks.
Yeah, it has. The hardest part of getting ready for this show is trying to narrow down what to talk about, because there's so many things that occur over the course of a week. And, last Friday we're thinking, we're going to talk about this. And in between, 7 things pop up. But the one that really caught me yesterday, I couldn't believe it. I saw Democrats encouraging an insurrection. I never thought, David, that I would see this in my lifetime. There were, these so-called prestigious, moderate Democrats like Slotnick from Michigan and Mark Kelly from Arizona.
Another jerk.
Looking in the camera and urging members of our military and the armed forces to ignore laws and orders given from their higher-ups. Of course, only on the condition that those laws are illegal. Well, who is to determine whether that law is illegal? It's a court that determines that, not some third-tier guy in the military or a police department or wherever to say, I don't agree with you on that. I think I'll sit this one out. I've never seen anything like this.
I think Mark Kelly had a lack of oxygen up in space when he was with NASA. But I will say, isn't that an oxymoron? Moderate Democrat.
You got that right.
And this is not the first time. We've seen the Democrats call for, basically an overthrow of the U.S. government all over America in piecemeal, but this is the first time I've seen a compilation of sitting congressmen and senators actively calling for it openly.
Yeah.
But
this wasn't spontaneous.
But the J6ers were the insurrectionists.
Yeah. It's not like these guys, made a flippant remark on a news show. Oh, just ignore those laws. This was orchestrated. This was written down. This was read. This was agreed upon. Hey, we're going to get together and we're going to encourage the military and law enforcement folks who might not like that particular law, thinking it's illegal, to just say no. I mean, you're right. They went after Trump on an insurrection when he said, let's go peacefully and patriotically assemble, which is our constitutional right. But now, this is borderline insurrection, and that's not hyperbole, David. I can't believe that our members of Congress saying, don't worry, we got your back if you do this, right? It's a recall of Milley, General Milley, when Trump was going out the door. Don't worry, guys, I'm calling China, and I'm going to tell them we're going to do X, Y, and Z during this transition. I'll make sure the button is impressed, which was something that he should have been court-martialed over. He got his pardon from Bush, but you ever see anything like this?
No. I think the Democrats have a screw loose today.
Today?
Yeah.
Today?
Well,
today.
It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse. This isn't the Truman Party, right? So, So what else do you expect from them?
I just never thought they'd be this blatant, but let's see if the word insurrection comes about from some of the non-conservative media out there. Don't hold your breath, okay? Let's talk about the new buzzword, man, affordability, right? Doesn't it just make you sick that Democrats are trying to rally around the term affordability when they are the ones who caused everything to be unaffordable? It was their trillions of dollars in reckless spending during the Biden administration that led to 9% inflation, that led the Fed to yank up the interest rates from what, 2% when Trump was there?
Just 4 years ago.
Right, to 6 and 7%. So houses are out of reach. They let in 15 million illegal aliens who now made medical care more expensive, as well as rents going up. When these illegal aliens are chasing rentals, the supply dries up, so the costs go up. Their crazy electric energy policies have forced electric rates in New York. I just wrote a white paper on this on my Center for Cost-Effective Government. Look on it. Look for Newsmax to publish that soon. They cause it. Mickey Sherrill, the new governor of New Jersey, when she was a congressperson, votes for it and then runs for governor saying, I'm going to freeze your electric rates. Don't worry. We can't stand these electric rates. You caused it. And now they're talking about affordability. But I'll tell you, David, the Republicans are failing on this. They're not doing well rhetorically handling this.
Yeah,
and they
because
got their
they're
clock.
distracted with Epstein. Instead of the fact that young people can't buy homes, they can't get high-paying jobs at a college. There's a 6% unemployment rate for recent college grads here, and the average age of first-time buyers have gone from 28 to 40 in just the last 4 years.
Old.
And the average age of home ownership was 31 in 1981, and now it's 59 in the United States here. So we got to fix it. But remember, property taxes are even a bigger part of the problem. And that's both parties.
Well, that's
because
true.
no matter where you've gone, especially in New York, and I know the Republicans have held the line on taxes in a lot of these Republican townships, but I'm paying
Nassau, not
$13,000
Suffolk.
for a third of an acre.
Yeah.
Well, so like Brookhaven did for 9 years in a row, and then for a period
But
of
Islip, run by Republicans, 8% increase. Smithtown,
Yeah.
run by Republicans,
Right.
11%
Yeah, out of
increase.
control, right?
Riverhead, run by Republicans, a 7-8% increase. Suffolk County, run by Republicans, a 7% increase.
So,
Come on.
and it's bad. So county and town, but it's
Right.
still only 20% of your taxes. 74% of your
School.
taxes are schools and
Right.
libraries, right?
Right.
Corrupt municipal unions that donate to both parties.
Yep.
And both parties have to back lucrative contracts for them.
Hey,
right?
Republicans in the
And spending.
state, the Empire Santa got all over them. The Republicans, the so-called fiscal conservatives, right? We passed a reform to our pension system back in 2011. It took effect in 2012, so that incoming employees, as of then, would pay more into the pension system so it doesn't collapse. What did they do in the dark of night a year and a half ago? They reversed it, and Republicans in the Senate supported it. Some of them are just as bought off by the unions as the Democrats. It's sad.
Well, it's concerning. The municipal unions, like the MTA, $25 billion in the hole, basically, when you add it all up. And now there's a new scandal here where they were getting fake punch cards.
Yeah.
And they were time cards, and guys were swiping
at the MTA,
for them.
the Long Island Railroad.
And they were leaving early every day for months at a time. You know, there's a lot of waste.
Well, you know,
out there.
Dave, my Center for Cost-Effective Government, this is one of the things we do. Not only do we expose the waste, but we come up with real solutions. And we've been crying from the mountaintops for the last several years, put this MTA, this behemoth of uncontrolled spending, it is disgusting how much they waste money. Put them under a financial control board, because we've seen financial control boards work throughout the country. San Bernardino, California. Detroit, Michigan, Erie County, New York. When the locals show that they cannot control their finances,
Stockton.
Stockton, absolutely, in California. So it can be done, and they won't do it because they don't want to tick off the unions and they don't want to make waves. But you have to do this stuff, but we need members of both parties to get on board. But here's one thing that is true. Let's not heap too much condemnation on the Republicans, because the Democrats definitely deserve it more. When it comes to unaffordability, a new study came out that showed that almost all the states in the top 10 that are the least affordable in which to live, it is Blue states.
Well, look at the
Blue
subprime
states.
mortgages. The subprime mortgages, right? These mortgage commodities got bundled. These securities got bundled and traded basically.
Thank
like
you, Bill
stocks,
Clinton.
You know, and but look at the subprime mortgage crisis was caused by the community banks in 1978 with Jimmy Carter having to
Community
give loans to
Reinvestment
people who
Act.
were not qualified to get the loans based on the color
Put
of their
on
skin.
steroids by Andrew Cuomo in the Clinton administration, correct?
Yeah.
And then they reversed Glass-Steagall, which created that time bomb, which resulted in the collapse of 2007. It was government policies that did that. You're absolutely
Sure,
right.
and then you got the housing scandal in 1989, right?
Right.
Stock market crash of 87, followed up by the housing crisis in 89, followed up by the peace dividend in 92. Long Island lost 250,000 jobs. 47% of them were light industrial machinist jobs from the defense industry. We've never recovered. Long Island here, which is bigger than like 120 nations' budgets, right? In the world, we're only 4% manufacturing, if that.
Right.
And everybody's working for the government,
Well,
or
that's
they're
right.
in medical, which is half
Right.
government.
You hit the other one. I was going to say healthcare as well. It's healthcare and the government or some type of service-related industry, finance.
Yeah, try to
or
get a
whatever.
private sector job out of college on
Right.
Long Island if you're not a lawyer or in healthcare.
Well, they're talking about bringing all this investment from Japan and Saudi Arabia. It takes time, but they better get that cooking because the midterms are coming. All right, we got 30 seconds. When we come back, David, I want to talk about, speaking of affordability, President Trump has an idea on health care insurance. It's to give money directly to the populace. We'll debate good idea, bad idea, and if that's not good, what is? It's a really important conversation, so stay with us, folks. On the Right Side podcast, come back in 3 minutes.
You've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA store.
Live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
The America First Warehouse.
the second half. Hey, Steve Levy here from the On the Right Side podcast with my partner, David Zaire. We were talking about the lack of affordability in New York State and around the nation in the last segment, and we're segueing into healthcare. The shutdown, David, was, at least according to the Democrats, we know what it was really about. It was this try to save Schumer's hide, which it backfired on him anyway. But they were trying to make the claim that it had to do with Obamacare subsidies and preventing rates from going up, et cetera, et cetera. One thing it did do is it shined the light on the fact that Obamacare was a scam when they said that it was going to make your premiums go down by $2,500 a month. It actually went from $13,000 for a family to about $25,000 now. So it was a total lie. It was based on a bunch of lies. And it was just bad policy where they took tort reform off the table at the very beginning. They mandated that you take these plans that you really didn't need, that made it more expensive. They were mandating that everyone get involved, even though they might not want to. So it was a bad program that was bound to fail. But the only thing that was propping it up, David, were the subsidies. And you had those subsidies of a certain amount up until COVID. Then COVID comes, and Democrat and Republican alike, but mostly the Democrats, they wrote the bill. They say, we're going to put it on steroids. No, we're going to dramatically increase the amount of subsidies that you get. And rich people were getting them too. But we're going to have them expire in 5 years. So they're about to expire under the language of the Democratic bill. But now the Democrats are saying, that's cruel. You can't let it expire, even though we wrote the bill that way. So now Trump is coming along and saying, here's our opportunity. Ditch the unaffordable Obamacare program. How about this idea? We'll bypass the insurance companies. We'll give you money directly from the government, and you buy your own insurance. It'll be cheaper, more efficient, et cetera, et cetera. Good idea, bad idea, where are you? If that's not a good idea, what do we do?
Well, first of all, the shutdown ended. The Democrats are the losers in this because you can't mess with Mama's sweet potato pie on Thanksgiving. And nobody would have been able to get home to see their families Thanksgiving. It would have been a
But are they blaming the Dems?
It would, yeah. The polling suggests the Republicans gained points on it, but
I didn't see that. I saw the opposite.
Yeah, no,
All right.
I saw pollings that show the Republicans in favor, but don't mess with the U.S. flight system. It's going to be the busiest week in history of the world for U.S. aviation, and
that's what turned the tide.
And it's still going to take a week plus to get their act together from the shutdown ending last week, right? Mm-hmm. So it was a big deal. And I think the Democrats have egg on their face because they weren't willing to take this to the mat and close down the aviation system for Thanksgiving.
I saw so many uneducated rank and file folks saying, Republicans are in charge. They're the cause of this. And Trump took a beating in the ratings. He's down under 40% in a lot of polls, and a lot of it has to do with that. People saying you caused the shutdown.
I saw one poll that had the Republicans +5 on it, but it doesn't matter, the polling. It doesn't matter.
But they shifted to health care, and that's good for the Democrats when they're talking health care.
Well, the whole thing was a ruse anyway, because this whole extension the Republicans are asked for was only to get an appropriations matter underway, because the big, beautiful bill took 6 months to pass. So the whole thing was moot. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew the Democrats voted for the CRs, except for about 80% of the Democrats who are uneducated. So I'm not in favor of giving Americans a check back for the $2,000.
Well, that would be from the tariff money.
Right.
But I think, let me interrupt one second. I think he's talking about going beyond the tariff money.
If it goes directly towards their cost of their insurance, I could see that okay.
Because he's talking about, instead of doing Obamacare and all these subsidies, we're going to give you the money directly and go buy your insurance.
Go to the marketplace.
So maybe
only if you can use it for health insurance and not Nikes.
Right. That's the problem with SNAP and the EBT cards.
Oh my God.
There was a day when you got a voucher. It was a housing voucher you can only use for housing. You got like a food stamp that was an actual stamp. It was called food stamps because they were stamps that you can put in for the food. Now you get it in a card and you can sell it.
I thought they were going to get stricter with the SNAP stuff, especially under Trump. Like you can't buy Cheez-Its and you can't buy partially hydrogenated
Kennedy's
vegetable
working on
oils
that.
and soybean oils and everything. Because if you look at the carts of the average EBT recipient, and they're very unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
And they're
Potato
buying
chips,
crap.
Doritos.
Because
Soda.
I go out to dinner and I love a good steak at a steakhouse, but I also eat very cheap at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I can eat with rice and chicken thighs
Listen, man.
and pasta
My
and everything.
mom
And
was
it's
a-
not expensive to eat at home healthy food.
She was from the Depression. Peas and macaroni every night. Macaroni and asparagus the next night. Macaroni and eggplant the next night.
But
Half
everything
Italian,
is
too.
processed food. Diabetes through the roof. 1 in 8 people in New York City, of black people, have diabetes.
Yeah.
It's a terrible situation. They're already predispositioned, according to some scientists, to blood pressure and diabetes. We got to change that, and it's more expensive to buy processed foods.
Oh, yeah.
So and I was reading a study, and I don't remember, I can't quote it, but the average EBT recipient was 211 pounds as a woman, and the average woman in America that doesn't get EBT is 147 pounds.
Wow.
So there's
And that's what
definitely a
Kennedy's been
correlation.
talking about.
Right?
Right. And all this talk about, people are starving in America. No, they're not starving in
not.
America. They're overeating. They're eating crap. Now, listen, there are homeless people out there who are drug addicted and they waste their money on drugs. You have some who are
Okay.
severely mentally ill, but any poor person can get food at any time
but
in
then
America.
there's the threshold coming this way. And this is where the DSA Gen Zers, the Democratic Socialist Gen Zers, and the young Republicans merge. And it's the fact that they can't buy a home.
Right.
And
Right.
it's the fact they can't, and the 50-year mortgages aren't the answer because nobody's going to have equity. Maybe if it's portable, like Trump's talking about portable mortgages, I don't know if that's viable. But there is commonality between the Gen Zers. I think the Gen Zers, as much work as Turning Point done, and I love them, and I've been working with them for many years, I love them, but I think the Democratic Socialist America Gen Zers are going to outpace the young people in TPUSA this next fall, and the House is going to go blue
I think you're right on that. But
because of affordability issues.
But one of the problems on the affordability issue is that, of course, the Democrats are hypocrites. They caused it, but the Republicans are digging their own hole. And President Trump has to be really, really careful. He's not handling this properly. He's doing what Biden did.
Yeah.
Don't believe your eyes when you go into the grocery store. Things are
You can't keep
actually
saying
down.
costs are coming down.
That's right.
And lettuce was $3.50 a head the other day in the supermarket.
Yeah.
I've never seen that
Right.
in my entire life.
He was on TV today repeating this lie that Walmart's Thanksgiving package is 20% less expensive than it was last year. Yeah, you want to know why? Because they're putting less stuff into the basket.
By
That's
30%.
why.
But
and people know that, and they're catching you in a lie, and you lose your credibility. I'm writing an article right now on how the president has to address this, and he can't
Because the
fib about it.
economy is getting better.
With the stock market that you can't use to pay your bills right now. It's in your 401k.
It's not happening quick enough because of interest rates.
That's right. And the interest rates are too high. But the stock market is good. Inflation, yes. Inflation growth has slowed, but you can't tell people prices are down, except some places you can.
And prices aren't down in the building.
I know,
I'm a
'cause
developer.
That's right.
I'm working on a $40 million project right now. Our costs are up 50%.
Steel, lumber?
We're getting hammered.
Right.
The project that I'm building now with somebody is underwater.
Yeah.
Because it's just not doable. It's just not doable.
This is why the president just has to be honest with the people and say, look, there's a reason I'm doing these tariffs, okay? Long term, they're going to be beneficial to America, but it's going to cause some short-term pain. But bear with me. You can't pretend that it's not having an impact on the marketplace. It's going to. Someone has to pay that. But if he was smart, the smart way to do it is not to do tariffs across the board on every product in every country. You target one country at a time, one product at a time, get the reciprocity,
Okay.
win, and then go to the
So
next
I've seen
one.
prices go up on electronics, right?
Right.
I just had to upgrade my iPhone and my Android. I got two different phones, right? So the price of the phones have gone up like 10 or 15%. I just paid $3,000 for 2 phones.
Yeah.
They're 512 megabytes. I paid $3,000 when you add the tax in.
Yeah.
It was insane. Now, the incentives used to be with these companies, you would get $800 a phone. Now T-Mobile
Right.
gives you $300 a phone. And the cost of the phone went up 10%. So, like, it's definitely unattainable for young people.
I get it. You know, the president, he's trying to do the right thing, and you have to just be honest about it.
Yeah.
We want them to build them here in America. And the way you do that is to stop the flooding of the market from China. But just be honest with people. There's going to be some short-term pain associated with that. And again, do it one product at a time, one country at a time. He's doing it with steel. He's doing it with lumber. He's doing it with the parts for the iPhones. When you do it, he's doing it on coffee, which he had to reverse himself on because he realized he was getting shellacked
Next
by
year,
the
the
grocery
economy is
costs.
going to take off like a rocket ship.
It will, just
But
like it
when?
did with Reagan.
Is it too late for the
Right.
midterm?
With Reagan, it was too late. In the first midterm, he got shellacked and he lost the House.
82.
And in 82. But then by 84, things were booming and they won it back.
Isn't that when
But-
Schumer came in 82? It's like the Omen.
Well, hold that thought with Schumer, okay?
Final conflict.
Because I want to talk about Schumer. Is this guy going to survive? Here was a guy who got it from both ends and serves him right because he has no real core. He's just about maximizing power and going where the wind blows. So he says, you know, we're going to do the right thing and keep it open. He gets smashed by the Democrats. Then he says, all right, we're going to fight it so I'm not primary from AOC. He gets smashed by the Democrats. So when we come back, David, we're going to talk about that. And then I want to shift onto some foreign policy. What's going on with Saudi Arabia? What's going on with the G20? So we got 10 seconds. Take us out.
We'll be right back with more. Check out the AmericaFirstWarehouse.com for all the exciting events. Come down here Friday night. See live from Studio 6B.
See you in 3 minutes.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW. Making travel great again.
Hey, fellow patriots, it's Cindy Gross here, host of Right for America, from your favorite place, the America First Warehouse. You've seen me show on my show so many products from this country's #1 most patriotic manufacturer with close to 400 products. You need to exchange the products you use in your house to this company and make your dollars count in our country.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the America First Warehouse. You're watching On the Right Side podcast with my cohort, Steve Levy, former Suffolk County executive, former New York State Assemblyman. I'm David Zier with Real America's Voice News, and there's so much going on. We were just talking about, Schumer. He's been in since 1980 in Congress. Isn't that like half a century ago?
Talk about needing term
Right?
limits, huh?
Yeah, right. Wow. And he won re-election 6 times in the House in the Democratic districts in New York City, and then became the majority leader, I think, a U.S. Senator against D'Amato in 1998. It's like full Satan.
Shot the majority leader. But is he going to stay there, David? I mean,
I think so, for now.
In New York, a Siena poll came out the other day. He is hurting. He's like,
but he's not up
30%.
for another 3 years.
Right. Lock it out. Oh, he'll lose.
You think AOC could actually read some books by then and actually know what she's talking about?
She won't have to.
She doesn't have to?
She doesn't.
You don't have to.
No, you absolutely
it's
do
like
not.
the host of The View. They've been on for like 20 years. Nobody can get rid of them.
I think if she says that she wants to murder her Republican opponent, she'll get more votes like they do down.
Yeah. Well, look at Hillary.
In Virginia,
You know, it's like she never goes away. Who may have done just that.
But I think Schumer's going to hold on, and here's why I think so. I'm talking about just for majority leader, not to get reelected. I think he's done, and I think he is going to just walk off into the sunset, not run for reelection.
Worth $70 million. How did that happen?
Yeah, really.
Right, he's been in public office for 45 years. How is he worth $70 million?
Hey, how is Al Sharpton a reverend, a multimillionaire?
Well, we know he's the shakedown. He's the Jesse Jackson shakedown.
Exactly. But with Schumer, I think he stays in power because nobody wants that position right now. It is a no-win situation. Remember, this extension of the shutdown, it's only till January 31st. They have to do this all over again.
Yeah.
And what they find is, as a Democrat, if you do the right thing and say we're going to keep things going, you get shellacked by the base. And if you say we're going to shut it down, you get shellacked by everyone who's got their flight canceled at an airport, right? So who wants that position? They're going to wait for this to blow over. You can have it, Chuck. Take the arrows for us. And then after the election, after the midterms, they'll try and do a coup at that point, I think.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm very worried. I'm reading all kinds of different scenarios, and I've got one here from the Cook Political Report here. They're in a situation, the Republicans, they have the best situation they could hope for, the way it looks now between Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, and Missouri. The Republicans potentially could pick up 11 new seats, right? And the new seats in California and Utah right now give 4 Democratic seats. So the Republicans could net 7.
If they're upheld,
Right.
they're challenged in the court. Texas just got theirs knocked out yesterday. Who knows what's going
But
to
a
happen?
best-case scenario based on current mapping is that the Democrats will gain 5 seats on net, which would put them probably ahead by 1 seat or 2 seats.
Every seat is going to count. And that's why Trump is so hot and heavy to get Indiana and all of these other states to do what Texas did. I think it was a bad move to do that because it did spark retaliation. But if we're going down that path, then everybody's got to get in line. And in fact, the Republicans would have a net gain if all the the red states did this.
Yeah.
I don't like it from a policy perspective, but purely politically, it's something you might have to do. But back to Schumer, I do think he survives this. I'm worried about the House, though.
What about the fractured GOP right now? You want to talk about MTG?
Yeah, I think she's loving the attention. I think she's being, true to her campaign pledge on the Epstein stuff, but on some of the other stuff, I mean, criticizing the president for trying to create peace in the world. That's a pretty dumb thing to do.
There was a number of
I don't like this for America only. She says, I'm not only America first, I'm
Right.
America only. That's dumb.
Okay.
Don't say that. It's wrong.
I will say that I don't agree with her on everything.
Right.
I was with her the day she was on The View in Manhattan. And, I don't always agree. But, Trump has to credit her partially for MTG getting him over the finish line. MTG did a lot for
How
the
do you
president
say that?
because I was on the campaign trail for 6 years with Donald Trump, all over the country.
Yeah.
And nobody was a better surrogate for Donald Trump. Let me tell you my experience.
I don't give her any credit on that.
Okay.
No, she-
Really? You know how many rallies
She
I
was-
interviewed
no.
MTG at? How she came out for
She
Donald
was a
Trump,
gung-ho,
full
but do you
force
think it
in
mattered?
South
You
Carolina,
think she
in
mattered?
North Carolina, 100%.
Okay.
I do. I think she has.
You're
I think
right
she has a
that
strong
she's
following.
true blue on that, or true red, I should say.
Now, there's things I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But I don't think she deserved the scorn. Now, there were like 4 issues that built up with the president, and I know there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, but I don't think she deserved to be called a traitor.
I don't
know?
I think she's just no, that's overboard. That's really bad.
Right. So
But
that's
for
what I'm
her to
talking about.
support the Obamacare extensions in the COVID time, like, oh, my people are hurting and they need this money. At least say, at the very least say, listen, let's extend it for a short time, but Obamacare sucks. We have to do something about it. The president is right that it's not workable. She didn't do that. She just came out and said, look, we have to extend this as the Democrats want. And I think she loved going on The View. I think she loves being the darling of CNN for the moment.
Well,
we know what the liberal
but what
media
about-
does.
what-
They hated John
Okay.
McCain until he attacked Bush. They hated Romney. They loved
Okay, so
Romney
she goes on The
until
View
he went against Obama.
and doesn't cause us, doesn't get in a shouting match with them and navigates her way through it. I don't think it was the end of the world.
No, but I think she's relishing in that attention, and it's okay. I love it when people are independent, and Trump does a lot of things that are wrong, and you have to call him out on it. But you also have to be fair and have logic behind your argument to just come out and say, oh, well, we just need all these people to get all these
I know how
Obamacare
much
subsidies. That's dumb.
I know how much she loved Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I've been around her for about 8 years off and on, right?
Yeah.
And
She was
I've
drinking
seen that
the
side of
Kool-Aid,
her.
man, no doubt.
Not just drinking the Kool-Aid. She was actively campaigning for
Yes.
Trump. She was raising
Yes.
money for Trump at Mar-a-Lago, all these places for a long, long time.
And she's got a right to say, I disagree with you
Our
without
party
being called a
has
traitor.
to show unity.
Yes.
Because it was even a politician 70 years ago or 60 years ago, Democrats said, I think it was Barry Goldwater, actually, conservative, who said, how is it that the Democrats can have a fight and make up 2 hours later, right?
Yeah, well,
and the Republicans don't do
They're
that.
usually pretty unified, but they're split right now between the crazy socialists
Yeah.
and whatever you call mainstream Dems. We're split a little. I think ours is a much easier divide to bring together because it's not really ideological. It's one or two different issues. It's this Epstein thing and a couple of other things. But ideologically, the Republicans are pretty solid. The Democrats are really, really
Well, they're all
split
cuckoo.
with this Marxist
They're cuckoo.
phase.
So
Yeah.
that's, there's a schism in the Democratic Party,
Right.
right? Will it go DSA or will it go a little bit more conservative? I think it's going the other way. Now,
Which way? Which way?
To the left.
I agree with you.
think
I
that
agree.
and so there's 5 seats in Jersey and Virginia that can turn blue now, that are Republican seats. Very worrying. Virginia's lost. Lost.
Yeah.
I think that Governor What's-His-Face destroyed the Republican Party in just 4 years, Youngkin, in Virginia. There was no machine. There was no machine.
Okay, but give him credit for winning.
Okay.
And to,
But MAGA helped him win, too.
yeah, and it was the
got out
woke
the vote.
that got him
And
there.
woke,
But
yeah.
listen,
I covered that in Loudoun County.
That was an anomaly. That is a blue state. That state is loaded with government workers,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to be really hard to turn the tide there. But remember, the Republicans took control of the House a few years ago because of redistricting in New York, 4 seats. And now that redistricting has been reversed by the New York State
We're
legislature.
going to lose those seats.
They're going to lose a bunch of those seats,
Yeah.
not all of them, but a bunch of them.
Maybe 2 or 3,
So,
right?
Listen, the odds are the Democrats are going to take the House unless this economy really, really kicks into gear and the rhetoric changes so that, I'm writing an article about how the president has to say, bear with me, remember, it was the Democrats who caused your electric bills to go up. It's the Democrats who caused your gas to go up. It's the Democrats who caused you to be unable to afford a house right now. I get it, we're not there yet. But what are you going to do? Go back to the people who caused it?
Well, now
give us a
Hochul,
chance.
right? So Hochul bans the gas pipeline, right? Doesn't want to frack in Marcellus Shale. Has this ridiculous thing where you can't go gas fireplaces anymore, gas heat for structures under 6 stories in January, which she backed off on because she doesn't want to lose the governorship.
Right.
So she's all over the board.
Absolutely.
She's backpedaling, and then she appears with Mamdani in front of 10,000 people in the city, and they start saying tax the rich, and she comes out 2 days later and says, no, I'm not going to tax the middle class. You know what I mean?
Well, but now what she is saying, she's probably going to let the corporate tax.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think led J.P. Morgan to say, we're going to Texas? These companies don't have to stay here in New York anymore on Wall Street. They're going to Miami. They're going to Texas. They're going to Tennessee. They were going to Carolina, South Carolina.
I want to say, I just got back from Florida. I played in the Jupiter Trump Golf Club outing for the Warriors Choice Foundation with Afghanistan and Iraq vets. And stellar golf course, by the way. But everywhere you go in Palm Beach Island, they're knocking down $180 million homes to build $180 million homes in its place. They're building them like chiclets. Everywhere you look, you can't touch a house for under 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 million up and down the coast of Florida. And now locals are buying the houses up, so New Yorkers can't get to them first because the exodus that's coming in New York. And there's already $100 million in contracts in New York City in contract with realtors of people fleeing the city.
Well, and we're here on Long Island. I think we're going to feel it too, where a lot of those folks are just going to say, enough of this nonsense.
Or do they come out here to avoid
That's what
the
I mean.
city?
They're going to come out to Long Island, and our property values will probably go up on that as well. Okay, we said at the beginning of this session we're going to get into foreign policy. We got so into this other stuff we never got there, but we're going to get to it in the next one in 3 minutes. Stay with us on the Right Side Podcast.
Have you noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep. And you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
The America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino podcast coming to you from the America First warehouse.
Welcome to Right for America. Issues that unite, don't ignite.
I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve? Fighting!
Welcome to the Patriots podcast. Good evening, everyone. We live stream every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. right here from the America First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in all the land.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
Welcome to Suffocating in Suburbia with me, your host, Stevie GB.
There we go.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are coming to you live from the America First Warehouse. You're watching On the Right Side podcast with my co-host, Steve Levy. I'm David Zier, Real America's Voice News. Steve Levy, attorney, former Suffolk County executive, New York State Assemblyman, fiscal conservative.
Newsmax insider.
Right.
Head of the Center for Cost.
And you're a contributor to the Washington Times, aren't you?
Well, they publish a lot of my stuff, as does the Examiner. I say more of a contributor to Newsmax, but...
All right. Did I leave anything out?
No, I think we got it. Yeah, the publisher of the Long Island Life and Politics.
Right, and Citizens Against Government Waste.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. North Carolina, Mecklenburg. What a disaster.
So you're not going to talk about foreign policy?
No, we are.
We're going to get to that later.
30 seconds. Okay. No, 30 seconds. Because I spent a lot of time in Mecklenburg, and there's crime everywhere, and there's homelessness everywhere. And they got these liberals holding up signs, immigrants make Charlotte great, while 30,000 kids skip school because they don't want to get deported, right? So it's like, it's like... No, they didn't make it great. They made it worse.
Well.
Illegals, immigrants.
Thank you very much. You got to distinguish between legal and illegal immigration. And I'm going to segue here for a second. I got
but the Democrats always confuse that, right?
They sure do.
On purpose.
My church does too. And that's what I was going to say. My mom was an Italian Catholic, so I was raised Catholic. I go to church this week.
I'm Catholic. They're so liberal, though.
And the Pope and the bishop sent out the word to all of the priests. Preach tolerance for the migrants, the immigrants. So I got to listen to this priest telling us how mean we are if we don't embrace all immigrants. I said, wait. So at the end, I came up to him. I said, there's a difference between a legal and an illegal immigrant, isn't there?
Not to him. I called him out the second he was appointed or anointed, whatever you call it.
But the Democrats do this. The incoming governor of Carolina was saying, we love our immigrant community and we were built with immigrants. Well, there's a difference between legal and illegal immigrants. And to show how bad it's become, David, 15% of the students within the North Carolina school district stayed home for fear of ICE. What does that tell you? How many illegal immigrants we have in this country, not only on the border towns, but in Carolina, in New York, in Florida. They're everywhere.
Yeah, Carolina's weird. You've got 11 of the 14 congressmen Republican, but you've got a Democratic governor again. Mark Robinson blew that one. They had a Democratic attorney general who's now their governor. It's a very liberal state in many ways, even though there's more Republicans.
Transplanted New Yorkers, buddy. That's what half of it is.
Sorry.
And the universities, a lot of universities.
Okay, foreign policy.
All right.
What are we hitting first?
All right, let's talk about Trump saying, I'm not going to the G20 in South Africa. And I say good for you, because number one, South Africa is a corrupt government. It's absolutely true that they're promoting the targeting of the white farmers there, so Trump is right on that. But I think he's also very mad at the whole climate hysteria. And, we're starting to say enough of this. Thank God we finally had Bill Gates seeing the light and saying, you can't just keep funneling trillions into this where the carbon footprint's not getting lowered, it's going higher because of India and China. And the irony here is, David, China's criticizing America for not participating in the climate talks. Well, they're popping out another coal plant every 2 weeks, right? So
they killed all the dolphins off in the Yangtze River here in China. Listen, South Africa has it's the commies too. Like when Nelson Mandela was in prison, right? And he was in prison for the ANC was a violent group. They were banned by Congress in 1986 as a terrorist organization. He was in jail. Joe Slovo ran the ANC. He was a white guy, but he was also the head of the South African Communist Party, and the Soviets wanted it because it had 3 deep warm water ports in the whole continent of Africa. Cape of Good Hope was one of them.
Strategically.
And it was very important strategically, and they went in Mozambique, and they went in Angola, right, with Jonas Savimbi fighting them, the UNITA rebels, and the whole thing. There's a rich history. So South Africa has this, like, not only communistic kind of tendency, but now they've got racists in charge, reverse racism that want to kill everybody.
Well, you know, Mandela was such a hero to so many, and rightly so, because this amazing man who you know was sticking up for the rights of the black residents there who were exploited under apartheid.
While his wife kidnapped 750 people while he was in prison.
But he was a hero, but the magnanimous nature of the fellow, it was he gets power and he says, okay, let's come together. White and black, and it started that way. And what an amazing man. That's why he's like a Martin Luther King. That's why he's so revered. But they've gone way off track, and they're reverting to the type of radical communist, you know, crazy power-hungry people in charge that you were referring to. Those are there now,
in
not
the
the Mandelas.
1980s, while Nelson Mandela was in jail, Winnie Mandela was responsible for the necklacing of hundreds of people, where they would take a tire around you, and they would tie your hands behind your back. They would pour gasoline on you, light you on fire, and chop you up with a machete. And the first black family to get elected to local office in free elections, because every election was free up until the presidential election, when they started to reverse some of the grand apartheid and petty apartheid laws. They took the Kinney family, and a Dutch CBS film news crew filmed it. I have it at home. They took the whole black family out of the house. This is the ANC. And they lit them all on fire and chopped them in pieces in the middle of the street. This is a long time it's going on.
Yeah, he was one thing, she was another. She was a bad egg, you know, no doubt. All right, foreign policy. What about you know, Trump is really fawning over the Saudi Arabia crown prince, and I get it that you have to play ball with some bad people in the world. Look, we did it in World War II. We had to align with one of the biggest mass murderers in history, Joseph Stalin, to defeat another mass murderer in Adolf Hitler. So sometimes you have to hold your nose and do that. So I get it. We have to align with Saudi Arabia to try to create an alliance with Israel against Iran, which is our bigger threat. They're like the Hitler here, and the Saudi prince is like the Stalin here, but I wish he wouldn't fawn over him.
I think Trump announced today at the Kennedy Center that he's going to intercede with the Saudis in the Sudan war, along with Egypt and a few other countries.
That would be good.
Come up with a settlement, because they've been fighting for
Yemen
decades,
and
right?
Sudan, it's disgusting. And those rebels, the Houthis and all the others, they gained traction because there's no credible force against
Well, they were Iranian proxies,
Right,
so they
of
lost
course.
they got their legs cut out from them. They're still active, but not like they were, right?
Well,
Because they were dumping rockets every day into the Saudi airports.
But they were doing it because they can get away with it because Biden was too weak to respond. But now there's a new sheriff in town. One more foreign policy thing in 4 minutes to go here, and that's Nigeria. Here's a good thing that's coming from this administration, where they're speaking up. You know, I remember Michelle Obama, you know, meekly saying, what was it about when the girls were being kidnapped from Boko Haram, the Muslim terrorists? You know, they were burning down churches and killing Christians and kidnapping them. Bring back our girls or something like that. And that was it. There was a little whimper. But now President Trump is really making it a focus. And now it's mobilized Nicki Minaj, of all things, coming to say, thank you, President Trump. Do you ever think you'd see rapper Nicki Minaj going up there and praising Donald Trump in a press conference because she sees someone standing up for these Christians who are being persecuted? If it were the other way around, David, that there was a Muslim community having their mosques burned down, having their children kidnapped, having their people beheaded by a bunch of radical crazies from the Christian side, the media would never stop talking about it.
No, and it's been going on a long time. You know, hundreds of thousands of Christians slaughtered by Boko Haram, al-Shabaab in Somalia. But the Boko Haram, I was covering Trump's birthday at the Trump Hotel in 2019, and Mike Pence was working with this family. So Trump sent Mike Pence to meet with Osinbajo, the vice president of Nigeria at the time. And Trump was very active. And believe it or not, one of the good things Pence did was very good on the Nigeria issue. I interviewed this family whose daughter was kidnapped by Boko Haram. I think they may have negotiated her back. I don't remember what happened. I think so. But yeah, so Trump's been on this for a long time.
Well, let's certainly hope. And one more thing with Trump, controversial. You know, the MAGA people are not happy with him. And I'm upset about this, too, with saying okay to 600,000 more Chinese students coming into our American universities.
Well, the colleges get H-1B money.
Yeah.
It's like another 40,000 on top of the 85,000 that come in already.
Yeah, so these colleges are loving it. And I hate it, especially, though, on public universities, because those public universities, they're our taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
They're for the kid down the block, the black kid in
And they're
Brentwood,
to the left of Lenin.
Spanish kid, the Hispanic kid in Central Islip, the white poor kid in Shirley. That's what our university system is for, that we pay for in a state university. And 20% of them are filled by foreign students? Come on.
Now, what do you think? We have a minute left, right? So what do you think about the fee to pay $100,000 to make sure that U.S. manufacturers are giving H-1B high-paying jobs? Are they still robbing Americans? Should there be a transition in reducing the number of H-1Bs until we get more STEM students
Shouldn't
out?
wipe them out, but they have to be controlled and limited. It shouldn't be an excuse to just bring in someone from a foreign country to give lower wages than you would to an American. But there
Amazon, the biggest abuser of that.
Yeah. But there are some cases where you really do need that high skill that you might not be able to get it quickly. So it's got to be balanced, but it's got to be
Chase
controlled.
Bank also does that a lot.
Yeah.
Thousands
well, a
a
lot
year.
of them can get away with it if you let them get away with it. So there has to be better monitoring on that, David. No doubt.
Wow, we need more time.
We do. We got 4 other things we wanted to talk about.
Well,
we couldn't get to it, folks. Too much.
I should be here next Wednesday.
Good.
Let's try to figure that out.
Do you think anything will happen between now and next Wednesday that we can talk about?
Yeah, 150 things.
Unbelievable.
My 25th, my 36th anniversary is coming up on. When is it?
It better not be the date
Tuesday.
About. Okay,
Oh my
it's not
God.
Wednesday.
36.
But
If I
make
would have
sure
forgot,
you-
my wife would kill me.
Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Be here.
On the right side, go to theamericafirstwarehouse.com.
See you next week.